Sonic. You know, it's funny. Every time I think of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, the characters, the lore, the story all appear first while the actual games come second. At least in my head. Because to be perfectly honest, I'm not the biggest video game person. All I really play is Telltale's The Walking Dead, Spider-Man, and Doctor Who's many attempts at video games. However, the one exception to this fact of myself was always just Sonic. I like the character, so I played his series. And nowadays, I can officially tell you even more random bits of the lore, and on top of that, actual gameplay. Like how Sonic Unleashed could be one of the hardest Sonic games ever, and Colors DS might be better than the actual Wii version. It's the one series which takes most of my gaming shelf, so clearly that's gotta mean something. And since I only play the games for these reasons, it's kind of fitting for the games I do play. Just that Sonic originated as a video game character. So, what game could I talk about in a way that wouldn't be a half-assed retread of what many other people on the internet have already done? Huh. Any of you guys heard of this? Over the years, the original classic Sonic games has had many re-releases, some better than others, but the one I don't see lots of people talk about is this little guy right here. The DS versions of Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, which is really weird because, like, it's Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles. The literal holy grail of the Sonic in one simple package, and it's portable. My dad found this when we were looking around in some random store, and this was an era where I didn't have any portable Sonic games yet, so when he asked if I wanted this, I decided, yeah, sure, why not, I don't have anything else to do. Which apparently sealed my fate for the next 3 years, as this would end up being my most played DS game. I spent hours and hours pouring my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing again and again and again, that to this day it was this port which was the way I beat all the games. Except Sonic and Knuckles, that one I always kind of sucked at. I had a blast discovering these classics, seeing that even in the series' early days, a lot of the charm I liked was still there. The characters, the lore, and that story. And for only a port on handheld, this was pretty dang good. I was a bit mad that you couldn't enter a stage select or a debug mode, but it might still be there as a feature in this version, and I just suck at getting it. I'm sure there are some more dorkier dorks than me who can tell people that what this version does differently from the Genesis classics, but if it was close enough to a point where I can't even notice, then who cares? Besides, there are way worser versions of the old games floating around. You might as well just talk about those. It's way more entertaining. This is just a dang good port of all these games. So, what else is in this version, you may be asking? If this is such a good package of the old games to a point that you can call it a compilation, then, like, there's gotta be extra features in there, right? Well, you can look at old pictures and read the credits. Like I said, this is just a good port of all these games in a small collection. Not really anything else. Which, I guess for some would be a flaw, but if anything, I think I prefer this to whatever the hell Origins was. Sure, Origins gave you new features, and that was probably to entice old fans, but, like, fans aren't the audience for these. If anything, the casual market would be more interested in getting these old games because they are cheap, and oh, my son likes Sonic, let's give him this vibes they give off. It's an easy way to introduce younger and newer fans to the history of the franchise, and honestly, I think that's enough. No fuss, no nothing, just cleaner ports of the games and have at it. It makes them stand on their own in a way that I don't see lots of other ports do. But Mega Collection has the Sonic CD opening and comic book cover, so I guess this will rot away in history. People who play the other things have nostalgia for their stuff too, you know? However, I will admit, any person who says Sonic Forces is an underrated gem I will consider killing. I would have something more profound here, but honestly, I kind of stopped writing the script halfway through and thought I would come up with something by the time I started recording, and, you know, that that isn't happening. So I hope you just enjoyed the short ramble. Look over here if you want to find anything else that I have made. And, Sonic.